Hello, everyone. Welcome to In the Neighborhood with your hosts, Tim Johnson and Stacy Borho. Together, they are finding out what makes the heart of the Heartland beat. They sit down with people in your community that lead organizations, businesses, and government. You'll learn who they are and what they're involved in and why. They are the people in your neighborhood. It's In the Neighborhood with Stacy Borho and Tim Johnson.
I've probably seen that video, 50 times, and it brings back a lot of different memories.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. So we've done over 185, actually I think this is the 185 show, if I've got it right.
Okay.
Cool. Talking to Peoria area difference makers and people like yourself that really help change Peoria.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
Oh, not a problem. Today we're talking with Gayle Young of Susan G. Komen. Tell us what Susan G. Komen is for those that don't know.
For those that don't know, Susan G. Komen is the world's largest grassroots breast cancer organization. It was actually started by Peorian Nancy Goodman Brinker, and in honor of a promise that she made to her sister, Susan Komen, when she passed away of breast cancer at the age of 36. And Nancy promised her sister that she would do everything she could to find cures for breast cancer so that no family had to go through what their family has gone through. And that was over 35 years ago.
Wow.
And Komen is now the largest funder of breast cancer research outside of the United States government and has invested billions of dollars into community health projects as well.
Wow, that's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing thing to see all the runners downtown. We were just talking a few seconds ago. This was one of the first interviews, live interviews that Stacy did.
Right.
Was right there, in whatever the word is, talking with all the interviewing all the different people from the race and everything. So how did you get involved with?
You know, I got involved because a friend and a lovely lady that I went to church with, who was the confirmation director at our church, had a breast cancer battle, and she did not survive. And it really motivated a number of us to get involved. A good friend was already volunteering at Komen and said, "Come and help me with the grants." We do community health grants, and there's a whole process, a competitive grant process. And she said, "Will you come and help me?" And I said, "I'd love to." And so I got involved that way. I had participated with the race previous, but I'd really not been involved at a deeper level. So that got me motivated to get involved. And I've been actually volunteering and on staff for over 15 years.
That's great. That's great.
Thanks.
It's so cool what they've done around Peoria and right in the center of town too, right?
Well, and it's interesting to see the changes that have occurred since Nancy and Susie were first walking this breast cancer journey. And the very first race for the cure, which was 34 years ago here in Peoria, you could not say the word breast on television. So that shows you how we were not having any discussion about this disease. It was something you just didn't talk about. And I think one of the things I'm most proud of as far as the organization goes is the fact that we have made it something that you discuss, that you share within your family. We know that there's family connections with breast cancer, and people were afraid to talk about it. And now it's something that we share, that we talk about, that we make sure that our children know what our family history is. If we have an elevated risk, we make sure that people know that so that they can get the screenings and do the things that they need to do. So have really impacted the whole breast cancer movement as an organization.
Sure. So share some of the statistics that you have in regards to breast cancer and who it's impacting.
Sure.
And
Sure. Well, a couple things. Let me just say, when Komen started, your 5-year survival rate of an early stage breast cancer was about 70%.
Okay.
Your 5-year survival rate of an early stage breast cancer today is over 99%.
wow.
Now, we still lose about between 45 and 50,000 women a year to breast cancer. And that is because we have some aggressive breast cancers, and this is all information that we have learned over the years. Is
Sure.
that there are very aggressive forms of breast cancer, triple negative breast cancer, inflammatory breast cancer, hormone positive breast cancers that have a high rate of reoccurrence.
Okay.
And then that leads to metastases, to metastatic cancers, which means that the cancer has spread outside of the breast and attacks other organs. And those are the cancers that are taking women's lives. You know, and the fact that we've impacted that early stage, but we still are losing those women to these aggressive breast cancers. In 2016, Susan G. Komen decided that we really needed to target our efforts. If we were going to impact the mortality rate, we needed to impact it through the research, and we needed to focus our research. And so in 2016, the organization developed what they call a bold goal. And that bold goal is to reduce the deaths from breast cancer by 50% over 10 years.
That's great.
That's a bold goal. Anybody that's in statistics is out there shaking their head thinking, wow. And how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to do that by targeting the research to those aggressive breast cancers that take women and men. 1% of all breast cancers are in men, but take women and men's lives. And so this year alone, 70% of all the research dollars went into studying and treating metastatic disease. And that, I mean, the goal, the hope, and the prayer is that will impact those statistics about mortality. So.
Has early detection helped?
Absolutely. I mean, we can look at that statistic from the 70% to the 99, almost 99%, and you know, I think that early detection message was one that we have pushed for many years, but it also just started that conversation. You know, that conversation about screening, about healthy lifestyle choices, about knowing your family history, all those things that can help us be our own best health advocate and be an informed patient if we have to be.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys have some fundraising events coming up, don't you?
We do, you know, and I'm just so excited to be here because the biggest thing that I want to just share a little bit about is, and people may have heard some about it, the Race for the Cure is getting a facelift. It is transitioning this year to the More Than Pink Walk.
Okay.
And this change was not something we entered into lightly. We went through a lot of data analysis about running events. And you know what, I was mentioning to you that when we started this 34 years ago, you couldn't even say the word breast on television because we just weren't talking about breast cancer. But at the time, that first year, there were 3 running events in Peoria. Now there are over 88 within the city alone. And if you take the surrounding area, there's probably 150 different running events. And so we found that the numbers of people participating were dropping. And so we felt we needed to do something because you know what? We've got this bold goal and we have to work hard to raise the dollars to go into research. And so the national organization started to do a lot of data analysis of people that participated. And we found that in our race, only about 5% of all people that participated were runners. But the run was the focus. And if you said the word Susan G. Komen, people said breast cancer. But they didn't know what that really meant.
Sure.
They didn't know what the mission of the organization was. And so we worked with the national organization. We went to pilots around the country where we were in Fort Worth, Texas. We were in Milwaukee. They've hosted pilots all over the country to get a feel for this potential change. And when we came away, we were very positively pleased that, you know, if somebody comes to the event on May 11th at the Metro Center, same place, same time, it will have a bit of a different look. I mean, pink will still be the dominant color, but we want this event to be about the mission. We want it to be about where the dollars go, how we're impacting, how people that participate are impacting this fight against breast cancer. We want it to be about the survivors. We want it to be about those living with metastatic disease. And so there's a lot of new things on site that will help people get that knowledge and that understanding of the mission of Susan G. Komen. And so we did adopt the new More Than Pink Walk format. And we're just excited to offer something new. After 34 years, it's going to be exciting to have a little bit different look and feel, but still working for the same cause.
So what does that mean then, the More Than Pink?
Well, you know what? It means that what we do is we've been so wrapped up over the years in just in the pink ribbon, but that alone is not going to get us where we need to be. You know, we need to make sure that people understand what's involved with the research.
Okay.
That they understand that Komen helps provide top-notch care, making sure that in our communities, we host a breast cancer symposium every year with the University of Illinois College of Medicine Surgical Department, and that is bringing in top researchers and educators so that our providers in our community have the best information available, that they are treating, you know, you don't have to leave Peoria. You are getting the best care possible right here, that we're advocating. We take action. We are down in Springfield. We are up on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., advocating for women for bills and things that impact breast cancer. Right now, in the state of Illinois, there's a Senate Bill 162, which we are co-sponsoring, which would provide diagnostic mammograms with no copay and deductible. We, through our community profile process, found out that there were women who would go in for a screening, a regular mammogram screening, which is one of the 10 preventative services covered under affordable care. And they would get called back. And so they needed then a digital or a diagnostic mammogram. Well, then your copay and deductible kicks in. And we had women making the decision that they couldn't afford it. And so I'm your doctor. I've seen something and something that I want you to come back for and look at further, but you have to make the decision because you don't have that out-of-pocket, those out-of-pocket dollars to not get that next level of screening. And so we're working to make sure that we can get that. It was interesting because there was a big gap in the continuum of care. The basic mammogram was covered, and then you skip past a diagnostic, which had copay and deductible, and go to ultrasound and MRI, which are covered by something called the BEST Act. So, you know, we had women dropping out of the continuum of care, which is not acceptable, especially when there might be something suspicious. So we're out there advocating. We're on Capitol Hill. We're down in Springfield doing that, and then also educating our community. We've worked for many years to make sure that the breast health message gets out in our community. I was just sharing with you earlier, we have a very active Circle of Promise committee, which is a group of African-American breast cancer survivors. The majority of them are survivors, or others have been impacted by the disease. And they have made it their mission in our community to make sure that the breast health message reaches women in the African-American community. You know, African-American women have a much higher risk of dying from breast cancer than white women. And that's related to access to care. That's related to late-stage disease diagnosis. That's related to the fact that African-American women get a higher level of triple-negative breast cancer, which is a very aggressive breast cancer. So very important to be out there educating and making sure that our community knows it. So it's more than just that pink ribbon. It's the action that you take. You know, it moves you to get out and do things and be involved and make sure that we're helping our community be as healthy as it can be.
All right. So speaking of being involved, how can people come help?
Well, we would love, first of all, we would love for you to just sign up and come out and be with us on May 11th on that morning as part of the More Than Pink Walk. We also are in need of some volunteers. We will have people that will need to help. There's a new giveaway this year at the event. It's kind of a fun piece that goes along with some of the changes that are coming. And so everybody that comes on site will get one of those the new giveaway, which will keep it kind of a fun secret. And then also, handing out T-shirts, helping people get registered, helping in the survivor tent. We do breakfast for our survivors. We have a new thing this year where if you are a fundraiser for us, and you raise a certain amount of money, there's a special tent with all kinds of neat, fun, might be its own breakfast area, might have, I think we referred to it as FOMOSas, not real mimosas, but FOMOSas, and its own pink porta potties and all kinds of neat things to say thank you for going that extra mile to help us raise more dollars. So we'll need help with those kinds of things. There's a kids zone this year, which we're thankful the Peoria Park District is going to partner with us on. So help needed there. Handing out the food that we always give out every year. So lots of opportunities for volunteering. And actually, the weekend before the More Than Pink Walk, we have our Brats for the Cure event, which is a huge event, always hosted in the parking lot of Schnucks, and in need of volunteers for that. Grillers, people to help with wrap food, help deliver. So you can call our office, and if you're interested in any of those things, we can get you information on all that.
So what's the phone number?
Area 691-6906.
Do you guys have a website too that they can go to? and apply?
KomenMemorial.org.
Okay. And you guys have an office in town?
We do. We're in the Metro Center, side of the walk. Same place it's been for 34 years since that very first one. And our office is in the back of the Metro Center, kind of on the far back wall. Nick and Willie's and Naturally Yours, kind of right back in that corner.
Yeah.
Last year was kind of a special year for us because, well, special in a different way, I guess, because my wife was diagnosed last year, and through screening, they found,
right,
and so we got to go. My wife insisted we go and run and spend some time. She really wasn't up to running.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, she spent
well,
a
and
little time
that's kind of part of it, I mean, we would have people walk that were pushing people in wheelchairs because they are going through treatment and they're weak, and so it's really this year, and I'm hoping that you'll be back, but that you'll really appreciate the fact that focus is really on survivors. New Pathway to Hope, which will be part of that opening ceremony, as well as really seeing your participation, where those dollars go and how they're helping.
Yeah, and it was a real celebration of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really was.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was a cool
Absolutely,
thing.
yeah. It takes on a, you had been there years ago, but it takes on a different feel when you're coming at it from that. I mean, you're a co-survivor. Yeah. You walk that journey, when somebody has cancer, and not just breast cancer, but any cancer, it affects the whole family. So you walk that journey with her and your children and your family. So it was a day of celebration.
Yeah. Yeah, Sheriff Asbell was there with his little green pink tutu.
Well, that's yes, Sheriff Asbell. He really got into it last year and did a great job. The Rhonda Guyton, who works with the sheriff, is a jail superintendent, is a survivor. And she challenged him to do some fundraising and do all kinds of fun things. And we have a lot of people that do that. They'll get a team together. They'll challenge their friends to come out and support, be there, donate to their team, do a fundraiser. And he was a great sport about it, because he did walk around all day in a tutu.
I gave him a hard time a little bit later, and he's like, "It's all for good."
All for good. That's exactly right.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we're here with Gayle Young. You're the mission director for Susan G. Komen.
Correct.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. And we just will hope to see everybody to come out on May 11th to just see what's new this year, because it's going to be new and it's going to be energized and exciting.
Real quick, what's the website?
KomenMemorial.org.
And if somebody wants to volunteer,
they can call our office, 691-6906.
another great opportunity to be involved with our community and make it a better place. Remember, you can watch this again if you missed it on Facebook. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on a lot of different places. Peoria
Yes, and we'll be
TV,
sharing it.
and we're glad to share the great things that are happening in Peoria,
Thank you.
and even have some grassroots here in Peoria.
Absolutely. Started right here. So, this national organization started right here with two sisters that were born and raised in Peoria, Illinois. So it is a Peoria story.
That's amazing. Thank you, Gayle.
Thank you. Thanks.
PeoriaLife.com.